What's going on, guys? Well, we're getting into the heart of deer season, pretty much all the way across the U.S. It's November 4th, and I hunted this morning here behind the house. Didn't see anything, saw a little buck on the way out. It's raining, so I'm out here under the carport right now, but we're leaving for Ohio Sunday, and I've got all my gear out, all the gear that I used this morning, and I decided I was going to do a couple videos for you here today. So as you can see on the table here in front of me, I've got a saddle, platform, and ladder sticks. In today's video, I'm going to talk about my mobile hunting setup. All right, guys, so this is my first year using a saddle, and so far I've been very impressed with the system that I've got. So let's go ahead and start off with the just from the ground up. Let's talk about my entire mobile hunting setup and kind of how it's changed. So if you've watched my videos in the past, you know that I've used a Lone Wolf Assault. I think this is the Assault 2. This is the tree stand that I used in the past, and I've had really good success with it. It's killed a few deer out of it. Can't complain about it. So after seeing and hearing guys talk about how they enjoyed their saddle hunting setup and how guys were having a lot more success self-filming and stuff like that, I decided I was going to give saddle hunting a try this year. So I kind of looked around, read a bunch of reviews, got on some forums, and I kind of settled on going with a tethered saddle hunting setup for this year. I got on their website, and just FYI guys, they offer a military discount. I took advantage of that. I think it's like 25% or something like that it takes off, but it's quite a bit. But anyway, when I went on their website, they actually offer a thing where you can go in and you can select like the kit. So if you're somebody like me that was starting from ground zero, you can go in and select your own kit on their website, which is what I did. And what I ended up going with is their Phantom saddle, and then their Predator platform, I think is what this is called. Pretty sure it's the Predator platform, but it's the tethered platform, the standard size one. They also have an XL. So let's start from the ground up, how I get in the tree, and then we'll start talking about the saddle. So these are some ladder sticks that I made when I was in machine school. You know, back in 2015, I think is when I made these. They're super lightweight. They're pretty comparable to all the other ladder sticks on the market. I think this system here is less than 1.5 pounds per stick. And then I've taken some am steel. So what I did with mine is I used am steel and made kind of like a daisy chain type thing that goes around the tree. And then I just took a piece of rubber tubing and put on the end just so I could give some weight to swing around the tree. That's it, just am steel daisy chain, and then I've also got am steel double aider on all three of my sticks. So I use 3 sticks, and if I space them way out, see there's my aider. If I space them way out, I can get about 25 feet in the tree. If I really want to go at it, I can actually get a little bit higher, but then I'm pretty much like shimmying up certain sections of the tree, unless I can find a tree that has limbs or something that I can climb and like space out my sticks a little farther. But anyway, I use 3 of those. I'll put the one on the tree, and then these 2 I'll hook on my harness, and I'll kind of go through that here in a minute. But that's what I use there, just my own little sticks that I developed and made. And then let's talk about my saddle next. So like I said, I'm using the tethered Phantom. I really enjoy this saddle here, and I've actually done a couple modifications to it, and in the next video I'm going to talk about some of the modifications that I've done. But this is pretty much the tethered Phantom with a regular bag, and then I can't remember what they call them. They're like little haulers or whatever, but this one is the one that has the 2 pockets on the side. So I've got one of those on each side of me, and I use those to pack some of my stuff as far as like straps, my lineman's rope, and things like that. And then from there, from my saddle, I've got the platform, which like I said, is the Predator platform. Only things I've done to this is I've just made a little hook on here where I can hook it on my harness as I go up the tree. And then I've taken some like hockey type camo tape and taped it up just to make it a little quieter. And that's pretty much it. With this system, I've noticed that compared to my tree stand, the Assault, look at how much smaller the platform is, guys. It's not as much for me. It is about the weight, but it's not as much about the weight as it is packability. So a lot of times I'm going like 2.5 miles in or more. It's nice to have that little platform. So like I said, guys, I'm going to get into the next video about some of the mods and stuff that I've made to this saddle. But let's talk about what I like and what I dislike about saddle hunting versus tree stand hunting. The biggest con to me, and it's not really a con, it's just something that you got to get used to, or there's 2. One is I like to hike in with my saddle, and I think the way that it comes from the factory, they don't do a very good job of staying up. At least I'm a small frame dude, and it might be easier for some of the bigger frame guys, but for me, it just does not stay up without one of the modifications that I'm going to talk about in the next video. 2, and this is the biggest thing for me, is getting used to shooting from a saddle. So for me, I've hunted out of a stand so long, out of a lock-on, that I've gotten used, I've practiced, I've gotten used to shooting out of a lock-on. My form is good out of a lock-on. I've noticed that with the saddle, I really have to focus on form when I shoot, especially like if I got a weird angle or if I got a deer coming in from not my strong side, but my off side. There's a lot of things that you got to work on, and just some things that me personally, some issues that I've had that I've just kind of had to work around. So that's my saddle hunting setup. Like I said, Phantom, Predator, both from Tethered, and then my own ladder sticks. All right, guys, so I wasn't going to talk about it, but since it's honestly part of my system, I'll talk about the pack that I use. This is an Exo Mountain 1800, and then I've taken and put my lid on top. My ladder sticks go on the sides, my platform goes on the back, and I wear my saddle in. I've really been impressed with this pack. There are some things that I don't like about it. It is kind of tight. I kind of wish I would have gotten something like maybe a 2500 cubic inch and maybe not had to use the lid. The lid does kind of get in the way, but it's not because of my saddle hunting setup. It's because of all my filming gear. But this pack is about the perfect size for a whitetail hunter, so I really like that pack, and that's part of my mobile hunting setup, so I wanted to talk about it. Inside of my saddle, there's a couple things. I've got a pull-up rope in one little pouch, another pull-up rope in this pouch, and the reason I bring 2 is just in case I drop one or they don't weigh next to nothing, or just in case I pack in real heavy that day and I want to pull my pack up instead of carrying it on my back. Inside of my right side pouch, I've got my HISS strap, and then I've got a Hero clip, both of which I bought from Tether's website. And then in the left side pouch, I've got a my lineman's belt, and I actually use my lineman's belt instead of using a lineman's belt and a tether, which it may not be the safest thing, because when I'm climbing the tree, I'm using it as a lineman's belt, and then when I get to the top, I actually have to disconnect to swing it around the tree and turn it into my tether. So guys, I'm not recommending that you do this. This is just how I do it, and if you choose to, I've had really good success with it. So I've got a lineman's belt that I had from my muddy harness that I used when I was using lock-ons and stuff more often. And then what I did, just because on bigger trees this lineman's belt's not quite long enough to use as my tether, I actually took the material that the Prusik knot was made out of. This is almost the same diameter, if not the same diameter as the lineman's belt is, and I just made an extension loop so that I can either use it in smaller trees. I can use it as my tether with just the regular lineman's belt, or I can use it with the extension, run it through the extension, and it gets me on bigger trees. Inside that, or on that rope, I've got a Ropeman 1 and a carabiner. That's what I use for my as my tether. And this is, like I said, I bought the Ropeman 1 on Tether's website. You can get them other places. It was just as cheap to get it on their website. And then the carabiner is a climbing rated carabiner. It's lightweight. It's smaller than the one that comes from Tethered, and that's why I use that. But Tether does send one when you get their lineman's rope, or their tether, which I do have. I just started using this because it's smaller and a lot lighter weight, and I just don't need as long of a rope as what comes on the one from Tethered. And lastly, inside my tether, or inside my saddle, I'm sorry, I've got my little tethered it's like a backrest or whatever. You can hook that on. One thing I'll say with this thing, guys, at least for me, I cannot shoot with that thing up. The string angle on my bow seems to hit it. So just keep in mind, if you are using that, it does make it a lot more comfortable, but if you're using that, just remember that when you get deer coming in, just set forward a little bit and that thing will just drop down right around your butt and you can make your shot. That's what I do, and that's what I've had good luck doing. So that is my mobile hunting setup, and hopefully you guys got something out of it. If there's any questions or anything like that, don't hesitate to comment down below and let me know. And hopefully you got something out of it. Go check out the website, guys, for hats and t-shirts, and we also have stickers on there as well. Support the channel if you agree. If you like what we're bringing to you, support the channel. It helps us out a lot. We definitely appreciate y'all supporting us in any way, watching, subscribing, liking the videos, whatever you want to do. We appreciate y'all watching. That's pretty much it for this one. Check out the next video for some modifications and stuff that I've done that has made my life a lot easier with my saddle setup. So anyways, guys, appreciate you watching. Remember to live your life to the fullest and use your passions to bless others. Good luck this season, and we'll catch you on the next video.